I don't even like live stream. The only reason I'm using live stream is because the watch party, that's the only way that they accept it. If it wasn't for the watch party, I would be live streaming. I'm still using virtual camera in real time connections. But we can't do that fucking with the damn watch party. We gotta do the live, it gotta be live stream. So I gotta live stream. But that's the reason, that's another reason why I haven't done nothing really extensive with it out there is because I gotta include live streaming, and live stream take too much damn power for me right now. Hmm. Oh, you got a it's a Chromebook. Oh, it's a real laptop? Okay. I think that's still a Chromebook. Okay. Let me see. Intel. Hmm. Yeah, that's a Chrome. That's the equivalent. What you got is the equivalent of a Chromebook with the seventh generation chip, Intel chip still in it. That's why I don't have that much RAM and that much storage space. Hmm. Hmm. Shoot, that last video that you just that I just posted where I was where the audio was all messed up and everything like that. Um, that video was actually done all completely from my phone. Yep, the live stream where I have fan base up there, and then I have the two apps on the side, and I think I had Isaac Hayes and them up there, but I wasn't playing the audio. The audio is just some messed up stuff. But yeah, man, I don't even need no, I don't need no computer because using a virtual camera for one, and then using the live stream, saying just the basic functions of the live stream. But ain't no sense in like I said, a couple more days, few more days after this weekend, be all taken care of and blow the hell up. Get the money. Definitely, definitely. And but so whatever. But yeah, yeah. The street guard kind of talk to them. Hold on, hold on. What? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see it. Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't. You? No, I don't. I wouldn't really. Yeah, I wouldn't. I wasn't tripping off the audio. StreamYard would be more like a middle, the middle of it, like the connector, because you have to, in order to get into fan base, you have to live stream. to this video.
At all. If that is another room, it's another conversation. The system is broken. Capitalism is not working here or working for all the other countries that America has to step on in order for it to thrive in the little ways that it does thrive here for the rich. So, again, that's another room, that's another conversation. It needs to be unpacked. There's levels to it. I am not advocating for universal basic income. I'm just stating what is being said, that we're getting to a place where capitalism has failed so miserably here, and all of the countries that America steps on in order for it to work a little bit here, that they're going to have to introduce a universal basic income of some type, to offset just how painful things have gotten. So that's all I was saying. Me being excited about AI, I think everybody who is not needs to get excited quick, because we were just in a space a few hundred years ago where not understanding technology and not going along with the wave will not only get you left behind, but will put you right back in enslavement, right? And that's not like fear mongering at all. If you don't understand the times, then you will suffer the consequences of not knowing, right? That is to say, like, if somebody, I'm not talking about people who want to live off grid, but people who just completely want to reject like the way this society is doing something in a particular era, you will be excluded from society by doing that. And so my thing is, AI is here. There is nothing to debate about. This is not a debatable conversation. It's here. And it is a matter of national security, especially on the global stage. It literally, America, and I'm not saying I'm on America's side, but if America doesn't dominate AI, other countries will. And whoever dominates the AI space controls the world for the next 100, 200 years. So I get your sentiments, but really it doesn't matter. It's already here. It's already happening. So you're either going to embrace it and try to figure out how to get in front of it, or you're going to get trampled underneath the tires because it's happening. Alan.
Um, there's a couple of things I want to touch on before things get too far. Um, one of the things is, you know, most of the it's like doomsayers when it comes to AI, like a lot of that is based on a lot of times movies or hearsay and not actually like not really understanding the tool and what it has the capability of doing and why it even works in the first place. Um, and that's the part that's unfortunate. Most of the times, by just simply just demonstrating, whatever someone's trying to do, and just showing them like, yo, this is how you can leverage AI to do it. Like I did a demonstration like a week ago where I just simple using Chat GPT and put turn it on real time voice, and then also turn on the camera because we was in an office space that they had rented, and just let it visualize the room, through vision, and just started to ask questions, and it gave a myriad of suggestions that just blew that person away. Like, they thought they were excited about their business, they were super excited about their business by the time that demonstration was over. And I think a lot of times it's just about trying it. I hear people say these things about what it means to be human, and emotions are not the only thing that define humanity. Like, I won't even say they define humanity. They are a characteristics of humans, but it's not what makes you human. There's so many things that that are involved in being human, and emotions. Especially the way that our relationship with emotions a lot of times are kind of out of whack to the point like we think our emotions are what's supposed to drive us, and they're more so indicators, not something that should be controlled or drive us. But and then when we talk about what AI can do and how it can be utilized, well, because AI has access, or it has been trained and been given access to pretty much all the knowledge that we have that we have developed over the last you know thousands of years. It has the ability to not only know how to um, interact with people who have uh, mental and physical disabilities. But a lot of times they could do it better than most humans. And what's the cool about it is you don't have to worry about AI getting frustrated because you keep asking the same question or had a bad day because it was arguing with significant other or the kids were getting on this. Like, it's going to be consistent. It's going to adapt to whatever that particular situation is, wherever that need is, and stay there and be able to be something more consistent than a lot of people are. We know when we talk about what's failing, a lot of times people has been failing people in so many different ways. And not saying that, oh, AI is the end all be all, but it's a miraculous tool. It's a tool that can be used in a myriad of ways, not just in dealing with people with mental and physical disabilities, but also just an education period where AI can be used to assess people's learning, their learning styles or learning capabilities, or where they fall short, and it can adjust and create a curriculum that's customized to that individual, so that they can learn at the speed in which they can, instead of being limited to whatever um, the speed was, the speed of the whole. And so if someone is struggling somewhere, it can adapt to that. If someone is proficient somewhere, it can deal with that and help them be even more proficient, instead of them having to, settle for whatever the curriculum is for that grade or that they're in, or the whole. And so, I hear, I get that people are concerned for a variety of reasons, but I think it's not about what AI is taking away, because what it's giving is so much more than what is taken away, and what it allows you to be is significantly more autonomous than you once were. So a lot of things that you couldn't do because you didn't have this and you couldn't have that, you can do it now. The things that you don't know, that you didn't know before, oh, you can know it now. And and think you ain't got to worry about trying to find some expert or pay this all this crazy money to be able to do it. All you gotta do is have the will and the want, and boom, it's there. Especially with the deep research capability. Now, deep research, it can give you PhD level information, within seconds. Not saying you're ready for it, but even if you're not ready for it, then you can ask it to break it down to the level of a first grader, and it would do that. And so I understand why there's these alarm bells going on, but I think with more experience with it, and as you utilize this tool to accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish, this apprehension against AI will go away. But as long as you sit there, treating it like it's some type of um, witch or something, then all you're gonna do is just paint yourself into a corner, unfortunately.
Because just to piggyback on what you said, in the last 50 years, I was just saying this to zero in, I have depended on professional doctors, professional physical, occupational speech therapists, and I'm not anymore. But in the last month, dealing with ChatGPT has helped me more than the last 50 years that I've been dealing with what I was dealing with my son. And I look forward to using it as a tool, like Carla said, to enhance his life into the future. So yeah, I'm all for it.
And I'm still learning how to use it every day. Every day, you guys. I am like trying something new, but hey, I'm here, and because it's here to stay. And so I'm here to stay with it and figure it out. So we're all on the same page.
Beautiful thing about it is it's no learning curve. If you want to know how to do something with AI, just ask it. Like, that's all you had to do. Hey, how can I use you better? Just ask them words. Next, you start typing up. Well, this is the ways that you can utilize me better, and it'll go through a whole, you know, step by step process of how to utilize it better. Well, how can I utilize you to be better, at math, or how can I utilize you to understand, or I've had it do things like write out whole motions for court. I'm not a lawyer at all, but it's done it. I've had to write up subpoenas. It could do all of the things that you know, all the things that you would have had to hire somebody to do. A lot of times it can remove a lot of that curve, like all of the limitations, all of the barriers that were put in place. Because a lot of these things are barriers that were put in place that limited to you from being able to do certain things. You can do them now. And instead of you even having to rely on the bias of some expert opinion, because there's going to be bias, but that's part of being human, is having biases. Now you can get about as objective information as you're going to get, and it's going to give you the pros and cons of each way. And if you're not satisfied, or if you want more detail, it can give you more detail. You can make very informed decisions about how you move forward with whatever it is you're trying to do. And I think a lot of times too, we're basing our opinions on data information. In other words, this is a technology, or this is I would say an industry that is moving forward very fast. And so what it couldn't do 2 years ago, it can do now. Matter of fact, it could do stuff today that it couldn't do last week. Like, that's what's going on. It's moving that fast. I mean, it can build entire programs for you. Like, if you're not a programmer, it can build a program for you. Now, if you are a programmer, you know, it can help you. I mean, like, you can see what it needs to do better, and you can probably get a better result from it. As if with anything else, if you're more knowledgeable about marketing, you could probably get a better result from it by knowing what you're looking for. And so, it's no substitute for ignorance, but it can also help you become less ignorant. So instead of just simply just relying on it to do work for you, you can use it to educate you on the topic that you're looking to, uh, you know, uh, get something performed in, and then you can have the work done. And that way you can kind of know, or you can ask it questions like, why did you decide to do that? Or, how come it's not this, or how come it's not that? And it will give you, an explanation with everything that you want to know, and bring you up to speed so you can know why it made certain decisions, or why it chose not to do this, or why it can't say this, or why can't it do that. So it's like a ton of things that you can leverage with the tool. And what's crazy is it's free, and even with the part where it's not free, it's super affordable. And no matter what price level you're buying into it at, you're getting way more than your money's worth if you're simply using it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Anybody else have anything? Hello, Doctor, and hello, Mr. Ham. I
I'm
guess it's
sorry,
Ham.
Dr.
Thanks,
You are
Nigel.
covered.
Oh,
Peace and
Mr.
love.
Ham.
Peace and love.
I'm sorry, Doctor, you are covered. What I'm doing is ChatGPT is going to be my insurance agent going forward. Um, but your services were appreciated while they were there, but they're no longer needed. But you are appreciated still. Okay.
Go for it.
I'm just trolling, but I'm pretty sure I could if I wanted to. But I'm just trolling.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm here for the AI. I'm absolutely here for it.
I know one thing. I had it do somebody had asked about, somebody who's involved in wholesaling, and I had to do like a deep research about wholesaling, and boy, oh boy, did it break that chunk down to the finest millimeter. It also did the same thing about building business credit. So I did like a step by step thing about how to build your business credit, where to start, what you got to have, what you got to have in order. Because these are things that, like, a lot of times people are like, we're being our own gatekeepers a lot of times with this stuff, and we're it's like a hustle. And rather than helping people learn how to build business credit, we're sitting there gatekeeping. Well, you pay me this. I'm not saying that knowledge is not valuable or nothing like that, but a lot of times it's kind of being misused. But the fact that we have a tool now that can give us access to all these things. Now, you want to learn how to build your credit, it'll show you how to do it the whole from top to bottom. You want to do business credit, same thing. You want to learn how to start your business properly, same thing. You want to write, SOPs, you can do that. A marketing plan, operational plan, like anything you want to do. Yeah, I actually have a tool now. I might have a link in my bio, but I have it now where you can it can design your website.
And your database,
AI powered.
you
Huh?
design your website to give you analytics that'll go into a database similar to CRM. Are you using
Um,
ChatGPT? What 4.0? Which one are you using?
they have tools that could do that are not what I was talking about as far as the web builder, but there's a thing called Bolt.new. There's another one called Lovable. There's another one called there's a Replit agent. There's a ton of tools that can help you build apps, including CRMs, including databases. There's a ton, and they're coming out with new ones every day. So, I would be lying to say if I was to say that there weren't. There definitely are. I don't have them all, but I know quite a few of them.
Okay, so it may be able to
So
use those resources and build it out from there. It probably will provide a code. And as long as it provides that code, then you can go ahead and build it out.
I mean, you could do that too, but I'm talking it would actually build it for you. I'm not even talking about it writing the code. Like you could do that with ChatGPT. There's also tools like Cursor. There's Windsurf. Windsurf will actually, if you have a server available, it'll connect to your server and build everything right there on your server for you.
Would you be able to use the Discord as a server?
are they apps?
Well, I mean, probably. I mean, the reason why I would say probably, I haven't done it with Discord myself, but keep in mind that what's the name of the tool that people were doing to use to create images?
Canva?
No, not Canva. The thing that people are using to create AI generated images.
Midjourney?
Midjourney. Midjourney was working through Canva.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like Canva. I mean through
Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's
So
why I made me ask because I
yeah,
got Midjourney. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, plus, I mean, really, Discord is just about utilizing APIs anyway, which we already there's already things in place where you can leverage the tools to utilize that use AI to utilize those tools. So it's definitely not something that isn't undoable. It's a matter of you just doing it, really.
One thing I'm sure that it can't do is teach us how to interact with people with mental or physical disabilities. But I'm sure that they'll be able
Yes, it can.
to okay, so then let's talk about that, because that's what
Okay.
the room is about, how people interact with people with uh, mental and physical disabilities. So
They say
Well,
that
Now, I said,
if
bring it
you
back to the title, okay? Because
yeah
AI
yeah.
can't do that.
No,
right.
I
Can
had
I?
touched on that earlier in my earlier comment, but like what you do is you inform it um on the fact that it will be interacting with people who have mental disabilities, right? And what those conditions may include, and you give it a role, like you are here they call them direct service professionals. You are a direct service professional who's highly skilled in dealing with people with mental disability, and you will be, when someone contacts you, this is more likely the case, and it's your job to, hear that person operate, use a certain
oh,
level of care when
not to
interacting
cut
with
you
them.
off, Lloyd, but that's not what I meant. I meant people in general. So what you are saying is okay with what I plan on doing within my own household.
Right.
I'm talking about just people in general interacting with another human being with a physical or mental disability just out in the world. Unless it's something that what you're talking about, unless that's something that's taught like in schools or in the homes, that wouldn't be the same
Well,
issue.
it
With
can do that
But
as
Lord,
well.
I
Like,
know you hear this woman saying person to person. If you don't sit AI on the back seat so she can have a conversation about person to person interactions,
he
you
asked,
cannot be
right.
that unaware.
he had asked, could it do that? Like, could it help, or could it
She
teach you to
just
do that?
pivoted the entire
Act,
conversation back to the title and said, I know what it can't do. We're not talking
yeah,
about what you
that's what
He
can, we're
yeah,
said,
talking
he
about what
said,
it
but
can't
but
said
it
that.
actually can.
do. So we're asking you to read the room. No, you don't got to read it. I read it for you. We're pivoting from AI and we're talking person to person interaction.
So, for instance, if you're walking down the street and you see someone that's maybe homeless or talking to themselves, maybe they don't have to be homeless, just talking to themselves, or somebody in a wheelchair, how do you interact with that person That's what I'm talking about. That's what the room is about.
I dare you. I double dog dare you. You better not say nothing about no AI. I feel you itching. You better not.
What you do is you turn on vision
Well,
with
you see
camera,
this?
and
You turn
and
your Ray Bans
it
on.
will analyze it will analyze and tell you how you should approach based on the information that it has. But
So Nigel, working at
Nah, it can't do that. Look, it can't take AI. Human
y'all got
mental
to
illness
pivot
is
from the
too.
AI.
Yeah,
Don't do
yeah.
the
That's
AI.
too. It's too complex for a computer to
They
that
properly
that's
address the
wild.
don't
people.
want to. They don't want to do it. So
Okay,
working,
but yes, Queen, go ahead.
I've worked direct care in the past for New Lisbon Notula. You may be familiar with it, right? And in the developmental system, this center, it's a book about it too. It's called Hard Candy. It's a tough read. So if you do go read the book, just brace yourself because it talks about how, these people, these young people, they were there from children from young age. Because remember, there was a time where they didn't know what to do with the disabled. So they kind of just threw them all into centers and Cora.
Willowbrook.
Yep, Willowbrook. So they just had them in these different facilities and they were treated terribly. Um, Fast forward a little bit past the hard candy times to when I'm in the facility, we looking at your O2s, O5s, whatever time frame. And they had them separated. There was a jail there still for the disciplinaries, but working with them was, you know, it's complex, right? They say you got to be a little touched yourself to work with those special folks, right? So there's an area of you that has to be able to mirror them to some degree for them to find you relatable enough to receive your assistance in a sense. Like they're not cognitively there fully, but they have some remnants. So for me, for the most part, I had 101. So I did have a 101 and we had to be in, okay, Lord, you got to mute because you got feedback. And with the 101 in particular, when we were in Ancora, you could see the remnants of the function that was there. You can see how, there's little moments of celebration growth because you feel like they're catching it. But then that same, I'm not going to say patient, that same resident, um, just weeks later from that progressive growth could decline and, go right back into spitting and, eating cigarette butts off the ground or whatever the case they were going on to. So that's in a controlled facility though that I work with them. But coming from the area that I come from, to Nodula's question as well, is you see this, you see the person at the bus stop talking to themselves, you see them pacing or whatever. What do you do? And most times, just from the area where I'm for most familiar with experiencing that, you get out the way. Okay. Just move out the way. You don't get too much eye contact. You don't try to do too much because you don't have enough information to make certain determinations. However, if you are the person that is called to this and you have that discernment, then yeah, you can go in the system. You all right? Whatever the case. But I'm gonna say, because it's a public app, I'm not advising that. I don't give advice anyway, but I would just say use your discernment if you're called to it. Definitely see observe them for a moment before you do anything, and then proceed after that. And that's my contribution to the conversation.
The question is really just how do you interact with mentally and physically challenged, and that's with care. You know, to but there is no one size fits all way of dealing um with people who have mental and physical challenges. But you know, with patience, not just even just patience, just paying attention. A lot of times people are trying to communicate with you in a way that you may not be used to, but if you pay attention enough, a lot of times, you know, it's possible for you to figure it out. And there's situations where you can ask them like, yo, I'm I'm having a hard time, understanding you. If you could just show me or be patient with me as I try to figure out, how you communicate. And I've had that experience. And you know, dude just showed me, like he actually took the time to like show me what he was trying to figure out. And then, and that was a good step. I'm not saying that's gonna work every time, but I think the thing that you can tell is like they can tell when you actually give a damn and when you don't. Um, you know, so it's just you got to make sure that your heart is in the right place a lot of times when you're dealing with people. Um, that way, you can get the best result if possible.
Hey,
Yeah,
Nigella, I
I
was going to
agree.
add too, I kind of put it in the chat. Um, your son, he seems to be a sweetheart just by what you've told me. So I'm not sure, what you guys go through on a regular basis, but patience is so important. But I just put that I remember when my mom brought, because she worked in that field probably about 15 years dealing with the challenged, I forgot, disadvantaged. And I remember having them at home with me when I was younger. And this child, when you get ones that have the mental disorders as well, you talk about patience. Um, my mom had to get out of that field because it's one thing when you have them with the disadvantage of, maybe not being able to see or something like that. But when the aggression occurs in them, that's a whole nother type of experience because what does patience look like? I'm just going to give y'all an experience that I had. I remember when the child came in my room, she always come in my room at night, right? And because she didn't have no restraints or nothing, because we didn't realize the extent of her aggression. But she would come in, and it'd be that time of month, and she would take stuff and wipe it over my walls. Can you imagine what that does to a child?
Hey Joyce, I think I missed the last part of that. Do you mind repeating the last part of what you said?
No, 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 no. I can't repeat it. No, no, no.
She probably can't talk right now. Oh, she's good.
Can
It was so
somebody else
gross.
can somebody else repeat it?
It was so gross. I'm
It
just
was so
saying
gross.
she has some mental disability. I mean, and then one of her things is whenever that time of month came, she liked to wipe, herself, her pads on the wall, like drawing. You know what I mean? It was just crazy.
How it affected her being the daughter, right? That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. So how would you actually handle an aggressive type of behavior? Because that's a whole nother experience.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I do have a granddaughter that has some issues sometime, and it's very, very difficult. Um, but the last time something happened, and my daughter called me, and I was like, so I was just tired this day. This is the God's honest truth, and I was like, just call a damn police and tell her to find her because she ran out the house. It was that type of thing, and then I don't know what woke me up like 2 or 3 minutes right behind I called. I said, don't call the police because we don't know what the police is going to do. So then I'm calling my granddaughter because she wasn't answering that phone. She wasn't answering my phone, and I'm texting her, like, get in touch with your mom because at this point now the fear sets in that we don't know who. So my daughter didn't call the police, but I'm just saying the fear was had she called the police, what was the reaction they were going, what would they have possibly done to her? And she calmed down after a while, and then she came back home. But I've seen her in those situations where she's just out of control. She's not. She doesn't do anything. Well, she kind of self. She hurts herself. So she'll hit herself or bang her head on the wall or something like that. But she's not aggressive like towards us. But it's it's really hard to see. And yeah, so and then there's the fear of now she's away at college. like what would happen if she have an episode up there around people who don't know her and don't love her. So that's like my biggest fear. When my daughter called and said, "Have you talked to her today?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't talked. I haven't talked to her since yesterday. Her phone is going right to voicemail." And he's like, "Oh my God, now what?" So that's a constant fear that we have now. Well, pertaining to my son has a vivid sense of humor. He's even though he's not verbal, but he's very sarcastic in the way that he handles people. The biggest thing that happens with him with the physical is when like times when I had to take him to the ER and then the nurses would come in and say, "Hi," start yelling in his face and stuff like he's deaf and he'll laugh. He'll laugh or something. She said, "Oh, look at that smile." And I have to say, "Well, he's laughing because you're yelling at him and he has a physical disability, but he's not deaf. Being deaf is not one." So, and then the nurse would say, "Oh my God, I, feel so bad or whatever." And so maybe the teaching moment is maybe she wouldn't do that with the next person. So, yeah. But they say that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So, you know. Dag, did I run everybody out the room? Am I not seeing everybody? Because I only see Zero, Brian, and Joyce. So is that right? Or is the app?
No, I think that's right.
Brian must
Brian
be
must be
doing
doing
something.
something.
I'm sorry, what you say?
I'm sorry, what you say?
No, I was
No,
just
I was
saying
just
I ran
saying I ran.
everybody out the room.
All right, there you go. There you have it. That was a promptu episode of Memoirs Podcasting. If you enjoyed it, thanks for listening and catch you on the next one.